Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll just give it 5 minutes to see if more people are joining, and then we'll get started with the session. Hi, good afternoon. I think most of us are here, and we can get started with the session. To set context for today's session, we at Etsuya, we have been working with leading companies in the manufacturing industry, helping them effectively use their factory data to drive operational efficiency. So what we've noticed in our journey is that there are several overlooked factors in factory operations that have shown maximum potential when it comes to savings. We have been able to decode these factors with the help of data, and that's what brings us to the session today. To briefly introduce our speaker, Mr. Harish Kumar Jagannathan. Harish leads the manufacturing vertical at Etsuya, and he's a certified sustainability professional. He has represented the governments of Canada and Germany in key initiatives in the areas of clean technology and quality infrastructure. Harish has conducted over 75 energy efficiency studies across diverse industries and has successfully guided nearly 50 companies in achieving green ratings for their operational goals. Harish, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is able to hear me.
Yes, Harish, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Okay, very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all the participants for this exciting webinar on how digital interventions in our manufacturing sector is able to achieve tremendous potential in terms of savings and overall long-term sustainability of companies. So my name is Harish, as Devika has said. I had been associated with Etsuya quite some time, and I've been driving this digital initiative in terms of how manufacturing companies can explore various initiatives and thereby get a lot of benefits in terms of each of the aspects of manufacturing set of where digital interventions can actually help companies achieve higher efficiency and success. So I'm just going to talk about a few points or few key factors which are impacting companies today. So the flow of this conversation would be more of what is impacting companies on their bottom line today, and how companies can take digital interventions at each of these pain points and try and look at combining this information into a meaningful data, thereby achieve higher amount of efficiencies and long-term sustainability. That's going to be the whole tone of the conversation today. So I'm just going to take you to the presentation, and in between I would also try and have conversation about what are your current challenges you face, and there are certain questions and certain polls we would want to ask you and understand if there is any pain point or any challenge you would want us to converse about. Thereby we can actually help you achieve the kind of results you want to look into your manufacturing setup today. And once again, a warm welcome to all of you. So let me just take you to the webinar. Most of the companies today there is a huge impact of challenges, and these challenges can be categorized into 5 main sectors, what we feel. And during our conversation and our interaction with many of the manufacturing companies, we feel that these 5 factors have impacted companies with their bottom line. And we feel, starting with resource utilization, how effectively companies are utilizing their resource. May it be a capital good or a raw material or human capital or the existing infrastructure, how effectively they are trying to utilize. One of the key features where I'll also try and take you through our solution, whereas we also have a scoring mechanism where we try and look at utilization, how resources are being utilized from a digital aspect point of view. The second point where we also want to look at is, I'm sure we are all in a very competing world where countries are fighting for raw material acquisition, and raw material sourcing has been a very difficult task in terms of how companies are looking at raw material. And one of the key reasons is its availability, and not only the physical availability, the economic availability has been a huge challenge for companies trying to look at a better competitiveness in the market. So that is one aspect we felt where it is impacting your bottom line. Then, of course, I get the resource, I get the raw material, but if I don't have a robust supply chain in terms of delivering this raw material to my factory or a manufacturing unit, and post production, this particular final product, if it is not being efficiently or uh, in a cost effective manner not delivered to the end customer, there is a huge impact on overall costing. So supply chain efficiency also we feel has a greater impact on your bottom line. Having said all these three important factors impacting, the major factor which impacts is quality. Quality is something what we say is, if you are there is a saying which goes in the industry is, if you are able to deliver the best quality, then I think you are not leaving the customer with a bargaining chip. By that, what I mean to say is, if you are able to deliver a product which of higher quality, customer is bound to pay the premium for that quality of your product. And I think that has been one of the key ideas of our partners who we are working with, and we're going to work with way ahead, is they want to deliver the best quality to their customers, and thereby the customers are ready to pay the premium for the cost of the product they're doing. Now, the last aspect where a lot of innovation and a lot of work is being done is in terms of how quickly companies are adapting with respect to the global shocks or change in the global environment. On one way, we are all happy that our country is expanding with respect to globalization, and there's a lot of export happening. There's a lot of emphasis on make in India and try to export our goods. There is also a quite amount of large pressure which is coming in from our export partners and our export companies who are insisting on we try and tweak our operations or procedures in a manner which is very quick and ad hoc. So the kind of shock Indian companies are getting is in terms of how quickly they can adapt and scale to the requirements of our export companies. So we felt these are some of the primary parameters which actually impact a manufacturing setup, and any interventions through digital accounting or a digital log of these information can actually enhance your capabilities, as well as keep you stand out in terms of the whole crowd of manufacturing companies, and thereby you can achieve your higher efficiencies. So this is one of the key factors what we felt. Now, what these five factors are impacting to these companies. So basically, that was the effort you put, and what is going to translate into a success is how efficiently we are operating our factories or manufacturing setups, how sustainable we are both environmentally as well as on a business sense, and this ultimately is trying to result to the savings or the uh, company's profitability. This is what we call the trifecta manufacturing success. So this three factors actually are impacting a company in terms of overall their relevance in the market in today's digital age. I hope I'm not going a little fast. Now, in a typical factory, what all we can track? This is something we have understood. What all we can track in a company using a digital intervention is something we wanted to look at. And with all these specific parameters, how this potential data can you be used for overall effectiveness? So starting with OEE, today companies are looking at how to track OEE, that is overall equipment effectiveness. Thereby, people are looking at what is the kind of utilization I'm getting from each equipment. Is the particular continuous production line able to deliver the amount of product I'm looking at? What is the effectiveness? Are there any issues? All these things are being tracked digitally. Then the other bigger factor what people are looking at is what is the aftermarket support we are trying to do. That means I produce a product. say it is a chemical or a toy or any other a wheel or any manufacturing product, what is the aftermarket support I'm trying to give? And I'm able to digitally track, I'm able to resonate with the customers issues or challenges, is something people are trying to look at. So this is something we can actually track through digital means. And we have today a lot of tools, BI tools, which are available in trying to look at these data and try and use this data for certain modifications or change in the process in our production line. Thereby we give our customers the maximum benefit and wow effect in their overall product buying. Other thing is, okay, I being a manufacturer, I have produced a product, I have sold it to customer. Today companies are insisting on something called extended producer responsibility, and EPR has become a mandate in certain chemical companies and certain FMCG companies, where people are looking at what happens to this product post its life cycle. This is something a decade ago people were trying to actually ignore, but today there has been insistence on what is happening to the product post its life cycle and who is responsible for that. And today some of the stall companies which are company in India, they are trying to actually take the onus of trying to look at EPR, and they are trying to budget on how post life cycle we can try and look at recycling these products or try and safely dispose of these products in a manner which will not impact the environment. Having said all these things, there is a cost involved, and that's the cost what we call as auxiliary cost. And auxiliary cost can be the cost of the raw material, utility costs like energy, water, compressed air. All these costs are also keeping a bigger impact on the overall production line. And today I'm very happy to say that there are so many companies which are giving state of the art BMS, state of the art utility management system, where you are actually able to account for each of these parameters in a micro level and try and correlate them to the production of your product. And thereby we are able to arrive certain aspects like best operating point or a specific energy consumption with respect to your product, or specific water consumption. So these kind of specific parameters attributing to each of the product production can also be arrived using digital interventions. Now I'll take a pause here and would like to ask certain questions with respect to poll. I request you to kindly answer those polls in terms of what could be your challenges today. So I'm just trying to post certain polls. I just wanted your answer, and then we'll continue our conversation further. I hope you're able to see the polls. The way the poll is swinging is most of them are trying to look at manual reading method of approach in terms of how you're looking at data. So then my immediate question to you would be is, are you finding any challenges in terms of data integrity if it is manually being accounted for? Maybe you can actually either speak, or you can actually type in the chat box what is your answer, or we can have this conversation post our whole session. But this is something I wanted to think about and look into. After some time we can have a conversation in detail as to what is happening in that sense. Now the other poll I also wanted to look at is, do you really utilize the data you collect? That is one of the things I wanted to talk about. And I'm just going to stop with these couple of polls, then we can continue the conversation. Okay. Yeah, very well. Thank you. Thank you. So now what we have actually done is in terms of how we interact with our customers or our client is, I'm just sharing an open idea. Wherever you find any what should I say, apprehensions, please do have a conversation with us. We'll try and tell you what it's all about. So what generally is the new norm in terms of industries? There is something called day in life of when a digital intervention which is being done in a particular factory or a particular setup. Today, people are talking about something called a day in life of approach. That's something we call as a DILO approach, where we are trying to look at each aspects of a factory in terms of its product health, equipment efficiency, in terms of logistics, in terms of the temperature monitoring or HVAC or energy or water, compliance management. So basically, each of the section, may it be a food industry or a continuous rubber manufacturing industry or a continuous paper industry or a cement industry, each of the sections which have been independently operating have been dissected, and a digital walkthrough is done at each of these touch points, and people are trying to look at what are those digital parameters we can actually bring in and integrate to a common platform where we can actually do a correlation and apply certain statistical measures to try and look at how each of them are trying to impact companies on their overall production cost. For example, I think we have some friends who have joined us from certain chemical company, and I think they, for example, companies like BASF use something called Fairbound system. A Fairbound system is where you combine all your supply chain to achieve higher efficiencies and competitiveness. So things like that can actually be done. But what we are trying to emphasize, or what we would want you to do when once this seminar is done, is take a digital walkthrough to your plant. Try and understand each aspects of your sections, and understand how you can actually tap into the digital data and maybe combine this data and bring it to a common platform as a first step. Followed by, if you are able to combine this data and try and see how there is an interdependence among each sections, maybe the higher interdependences can actually give you insights on how you are supposed to operate the overall facility. I'm going to take a break here. I'm just going to try and show you a typical operating platform of ours, where we are trying to monitor various parameters, especially relating to utility, and where we are also trying today to combine all these parameters and get our clients with a direct sustainability reporting for their partners. So I'm just directly going to take you to our platform and try and show you the impact this platform is creating to our customers. Just give me a second. I hope you're able to see the platform.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a platform where we have integrated all our utility consumptions, starting from energy, air, and water. In coming slides, I'll also share you how we have actually benefited our customers in terms of each of these parameters. But this is a very unique platform where you can look at, irrespective of whatever is your physical parameter, you can actually bring in this parameter. As long as it has a digital output, you can bring into this platform, and by using this platform, create all these parameters in a common platform, and look at each of these data aspects and try and see how you can take informed decisions with respect to your equipment, your process, your overall company operations. Now here, if you see, we are trying to give the total energy consumption at any given point of a facility, which actually gives exactly what is happening at a particular facility at a given point of time. I'm sure this is not very new to you. Maybe your existing BMS are also giving. But what is unique to our platform is we have aspects like looking at average consumption month on month. We have aspects like what is the specific energy consumption for a particular shift, or a shift-wise benchmarking. So things like that, these kind of metrics are actually helping our partners in terms of achieving their overall manufacturing goals. Now I'm just going to go deep inside this platform, and I'll try and show you each one of our assets, how we are trying to behave, and how this data is being captured. Now, we have a lot of assets starting from a AHU to a electrical unit to a main transformer to STP unit to a main compressor. So we have we have a combination of assets which actually are operating as we speak in many of our plants. So this particular data, if you just deep dive into this, you will be able to see what is happening in each of these meters at any given instant of time with their live data coming on board. Not only that, you can also look at the trends actually in terms of last 7 days, how the trend has been with respect to the consumption. Now, do I stop my digital analysis here? No, I take it a step further in terms of how actually I'm trying to allocate alerts and activity to each of these assets. That's where we have developed a three bucket kind of approach, where we have started looking at alerts in a manner where we started that we put a particular asset in a watch status, where the asset, if it's overshooting for example, let's take the transformer itself here. If there is a overshoot of voltage beyond a 15%, if you had set an alert, this particular asset is being recorded as an event, but the consumer or the user is not informed immediately. He's being just notified saying that there is a difference of voltage. Then followed by, if there is no normalcy happening, then this alert gets converted to into a higher level intensity, whereby the particular team or the particular department is informed that this particular asset has been going through a voltage spike for more than 1 hour, and interventions need to be taken. And beyond that, if there is no other intervention happening, then we also have a facility where we can actually raise a ticket automatically to that particular personnel or that particular department, saying that this needs to be addressed at the earliest. So these kind of informed alerts is something what we can actually imbibe in a digital system, which as per the poll when we had initially talked about, if there is a manual accounting, this may not be that very easy for us. So what we are trying to say here is, if you are having certain processes which are manual and you need an alert mechanism or you need a threshold information mechanism, maybe it's time that we transition to a digital mode of operations, where you can get informed alerts, and you can also set thresholds and targets, and have specific work to be assigned to a certain personnel, thereby bringing in a certain digital discipline in your operations and actually enhancing your overall efficiency. This is what something we wanted to talk about. Then let us also look at aspects of how energy is getting distributed. For example, we also have a feature of a main energy meter, how energy is getting distributed inside a specific facility. Of course, most of us would have seen a Sankey diagram. The reason we brought this aspect very much to our clients is where today most of our companies are looking at multiple sources of energy. Now, when it comes to multiple sources of energy, either we have a grid power, a DG, or a renewable energy. But today, companies are in a position or not in a position to look at what equipments or what essential equipments we need to operate with the kind of given input energy, because none of these energies are similar in terms of their costing. For example, a grid power might be very inexpensive for you when compared to a DG power. So it would be very prudent of us to try and actually switch off or try and postpone our non-essential assets in case of a digital DG operation, rather than try and operate non-essential assets when a DG is operating. So if that were to be done, I at a plant level or at a top level should be aware what's happening in my plant at any instant of time. And this is what this particular platform, or any other platform for that matter, if it is having a digital intervention done, it can give you such level of transparency. And that is what we are also planning to drive to most of our partners. And we also request you to adapt such approach towards looking at data, whereby you can actually reduce your overall energy costs. So that is something we can actually do that. Now, these are some of the aspects of the whole solution. We also have, okay, I am able to do this, but what about my reports and reporting mechanism? Am I able to generate reports in a manner what I need to do it in an approach where I can actually look into in an approach where I can look into in a way I can comprehend. That is something people are looking at. So we also can look at today different kinds of reports which are custom made to the requirements of clients, and we can look at integrating these reports with your manufacturing production data, and also try and report this as for sustainability also. Now, having said that, can we also bring in your OEE data into the platform? I would say that's a definite yes. You can actually bring in that data also into the whole system. Thereby, you are actually having a common platform to look at in terms of your data and how you can operate your facility. So this is something I wanted to talk about. And here I would want to take a small break in terms of understanding uh, and try and have conversations with you where we can actually complement you in terms of what is the present challenge you're facing, and if we are able to resonate with your challenge and try and see if we can address some questions of yours, that'll be great for us. So these are some of the features, of course, if you are able to do a digital intervention. So this is what we are trying to provide to our customers. Now I'll also talk about how it has actually impacted our customers. So this is one automotive company we work closely in Chennai, for whom we have impacted their operations, especially in the utility sector, uh, and very specifically to the compressed air. And they are very, very happy today that they are able to minimize their overall leak percentage to the extent of 60% by actually using our platform. Our platform has given them enough transparency in terms of their overall consumption across their shop floors, and they are very, very happy to reduce their overall leak percentage only by utilizing the informed alerts from our system. So that has been a very unique feature of this platform. Beyond that, we have also actually been working with them to look at visual inspection in terms of quality, where we have integrated high-end cameras with their present operating equipment. Thereby, we are also looking at how we can actually impact their overall quality. So this platform serves both as a utility and as well as a quality monitoring platform for them, and is impacting their overall operations. Now, we also want to look at one other aspect where of course, this is one example of a textile industry where we actually have deployed a solution. And here is one aspect of our solution where we have impacted is in terms of our forecasting. Forecasting, of course, today industry is very, very keen on how we can look at what is the production rate, what would be the next production rate. For example, the recent case of Bangladesh being stopped from textile business. So there is a sudden traction in textile business across the textile production units in south of Tamil Nadu. So now today, industries are looking at how they can actually quickly wrap up or how they can quickly ramp up their production based on this sudden surge in demand from the European companies or the American companies. Now, our platform was very unique for them, where we have given a certain feature of we can actually forecast based on your current production rate and current demands. We can actually forecast your energy and other utility consumption. Thereby, you are today very well equipped as to how you source your energy, how you engage with your state level energy distribution agency in terms of procuring higher amount of power, so that there is an uninterrupted flow of power for you to cater to that demand. So this particular case is what we have done with one of our customers in Coimbatore belt, where today we are helping them build forecasting models for their production facility. They have about 6 facilities across Coimbatore belt, and we are trying to help them look at how we can actually accelerate their production, and how we can tell them that this would be your approximate or demand with respect to your energy and water, which is having a confidence level of 90 to 95%. So that is the level of digital intervention is helping these companies in terms of optimizing or overall cost actually. Now we have also taken this whole solution for them to a further step of looking at uh, human analytics in terms of how productivity can be improved. I'm sure you all agree that textile units have a huge manpower which is being deployed. So this particular facility wanted us to look at how effectively in a given day the manpower is trying to deliver the targets. Uh, Conventionally, the approach has been a board and a pen sketch, where they were trying to look at the overall production rate and looking at how they can account for the production. But today, based on our health, they are able to analyze at each stage how productivity is getting impacted because of inefficient what should I say, product cycles or inefficient way of movement of product. So they were able to intervene, and using our solution, they were able to intervene, and using predictive analytics, they were able to understand where are those challenges, and they are taking necessary interventions to improve their productivity. So I'm going to stop here. Of course, I have a couple of more case studies where we have done a lot of work on a thermal energy company for their thermal heat rate improvement and factors like that. And of course, all through our digital intervention, all through our digital intervention, we are using the same data analytics and try and predict them how better they can operate the power plant and stuff like that. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to come back and have a conversation with you on what could be our approach, or what are the areas where we can complement and have a decent conversation for next 20 minutes. So can we have this conversation? If someone wants to either have a question, they can actually set up in a chat box, or you can pretty much start asking the questions. Hello? Right, that either there is no question, or we are trying to then let's further continue this conversation. Let's also look at other aspects of our solution, where we can look at things like we are talking about today, the imbalance. Sorry, someone asked a question. Hello. Okay. Nevertheless, if no one is having a question, we can actually have a further talk on how we have actually impacted some of our companies in terms of their energy imbalances across each of their phases. This is one interesting
Hi,
case where.
Harish, sorry to interrupt. Guys, we have this enabled audio for everyone, so you can go ahead and ask your questions on the call.
Thanks. Anyone wanted to ask something? Hey, I just wanted to interact with some of the participants. I just wanted to know today, are there any pressing challenges you're facing with respect to your digital data, sir, where we can have a conversation and understand how any of our solutions might be of relevance to you and we can actually replicate them. Mr. Partoliman Mansal. Are you able to hear me? Okay, I think I'm not able to get any further questions. So maybe I will, in fact, I will try and ask a question actually. How frequently are you monitoring your data today? Anyone? Hello. Okay, thank you, Mr. Arivaran Singaram. You're doing a daily analysis of your data. Very nice to hear that you're trying to do a daily analysis. What is that you do with your data, sir, today? I mean, you are able to take necessary interventions to tweak your production line. How is it that your daily data is helping you? I'm happy that you're trying to do a daily analysis or a daily data logging you're doing, but are you using any statistical analysis to this data? Are you trying to look into the data at a micro level and it is trying to change your production? Are there any aspects you want to share? calculating your department's raw actual power. And is that only other thing, or are you also looking at different aspects of water, your raw material, your waste? Are you able to correlate them? That is what we wanted to look at. Are you able to do any correlation with respect to each of these aspects? And does your current platform or your current digital environment allow you to do this correlation? Okay. But are you able to look into this data against your production? Are you monitoring aspects like specific energy consumption or specific water consumption, and you're attributing to your product cost? And may I know which industry you represent, sir? Yeah, you can actually speak, sir. Oh, that's great. You represent toy industry. Now, are you attributing, let's say you have 10 variations or 15 variations of your toys. Are you attributing this energy cost and utility cost to the cost of production of the toys? If not, would it be great if you are able to associate uh, uh, that cost to this particular activity? Okay, okay. You need to improve this activity. Uh, what are you looking at? If you were to get a suggestion in terms of your solution, what are you looking at? I'm surprisingly finding this whole conversation in a different angle, but needless to say, you are correct when you are saying that you are trying to look at this activity, and you have admitted that there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done with respect to how we monitor data. Probably our suggestion would be to look at data in a holistic manner in terms of how do you digest data from each aspects of your toy manufacturing, starting from your pellet procurement to the point of final delivery to your customer. Why don't you actually calculate the cost of this particular utility, especially water and compressed air and energy, for each of your activity, thereby do a summation on what is the overall impact of your production. Then maybe you will be able to identify those hotspots where you are actually incurring higher amount of loss in terms of your utility, and you can take necessary interventions for that. Today, if you are able to say, see, there are instances where industry actually loses in trying to produce. For example, I'll give you a better example is in terms of steam production in an industry. There are at times industry uh, actually loses by producing a higher amount of steam. So something we call in industry is called costing of the steam. This costing of the steam today majorly is done manually, but if we have digital interventions, you can actually look at producing steam more than the required capacity, and you can bleed it, and actually you save on your cost. There are instances where a condensing system won't be better than an extraction system. When we have both a condensing and extraction turbine kind of setup, it is sometimes advised to actually bleed steam to actually save on the cost. So these kind of scenarios are definitely visible and are very transparent when we make digital interventions at each of this level. And luckily today, most of our equipment, most of the may it be a CNC machine or a motor which comes with a VFD, all of them have a digital output which can be integrated. So all the more we are actually having a capability, but only thing is trying to bring this capability into a common arena and try and look at each of these aspects of data and how we combine and compute this data is what is a challenge today. And I think there are companies and companies like us, or you can actually look at a lot of suggestions across industry where people are actually using this combination of data and actually benefiting more. So my advice is look at each of these aspects, starting from your what should I say? Someone is going to ask. Is someone going to ask? Hello. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. You want me to explain the dashboard features again? You have mentioned about predictive alerts as part of your solution. Can you? Sure, sure. I'm going to use this feature where I'm going to give you forecasting is one aspect where we have actually brought in. So if this feature, I'm sure you are able to see, we have actually predicted a forecasting between September and November, and the actual consumption is actually tracing the overall consumption, and there is a downward trend in our customer consumption based on our forecasting models. How we forecast is we take the previous 6 months or 1 year data. Based on the production data, we actually do a correlation, and with that data we actually draw a integral map, and where we are able to get what could be the slope of consumption in coming months ahead. Based on that, we will be able to look at what could be the amount of resources you need to allocate, what could be the cost of capital you need to borrow for such operations, and with that you can actually look at how you can optimize your cost of power also. For example, in the month of October, after the month of October, there is a sharp downtrend in the consumption. In this case, the company have started allocating the amount of money for their utility consumption a little less when compared to October in November, because these are the lean months where the company actually is not incurring more energy costs, because this is the favorable months with respect to the air conditioning load. This
Hello?
company, yeah.
Harish, we're running out of time. We can give a detailed explanation of the dashboard a little later on a separate call. There's one
Okay,
more question that's unanswered. If you can take that, we can
what is
probably
that?
wind up in another 5 minutes.
What is that?
By Madhumati.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we do use AI. We do use AI for trying and simulating our predictive alerts. The best example would be in terms of how our system is able to taking the queue of current as a signature, and trying to look at what are the neutral currents which are going to come into the system, and how it can actually impact the overall operations in terms of the load which is getting distributed among each phases, and also predict what would be the expected loss that one can incur due to this imbalance. We are actually using a little bit of AI in terms of how this aspect is being looked upon. So the best example would be when there are single phase loads in each of the phases. Based on the load, current is one aspect which gives you the whole signature of that particular phase. And with this data, we are using our combinational AI and machine learning tools and try to predict what could be the possible increase in a particular phase at a given point of time. So let us say people operate in different shifts. Maybe a night shift, that particular phase, the loading will come down or either increase. Based on our AI data, we are able to predict, and thereby what we are trying to do is we are trying to advise our customers, trying to shift the loads in different phases. Thereby, the overall loss is mitigated, and people are able to gain a lot of benefit out of it. I think we are losing time. Any other questions? Any other aspects anybody wants to ask about? Rajivaragan, I hope I have answered most of your questions. Maybe we can touch base and understand how we can actually help you explore certain interventions with your current data and try and support you in terms of increasing your efficiency. So definitely, we'll get in touch with you. Okay then. Anything else? Ours is a very flexible, Mr. Gowda, ours is a very flexible model in terms of costing. And what we say is we are a pocket light company in terms of how we are deploying a solution. Because most of our features are you can plug and play, and you can choose those specific features. So we can have a conversation on that. We have both models of CapEx and OpEx, where we deploy our solution, and you can be trouble free in terms of what is the infrastructure you're trying to pull in. But the important aspect here is we are a totally wireless company where our solution will not disturb your existing infrastructure. So, and most of our solution is subscription based. So just in case there is a difference of opinion or a thought in process, maybe we can actually look for a faster engagement as well as disengagement. So we can actually look into the cost and other aspects separately, sir. And to give you assurance, we are very pocket light when compared to conventional utility management systems. The more important factor I would recommend you to look into is, okay, we actually are combining multiple utility parameters to a common platform. That would mean that we are not a typical EMS or a BMS system, but we are a system where you can actually integrate multiple data, starting from your manufacturing to your utility consumption to your sustainability reporting. All these aspects can be brought into a platform. Thereby, actually, it is actually helping you override the cost which you incur separately for each of this service from different companies. We can get back to you on that, sir. Benefits of IoT over SCADA, definitely IoT gives you scalability. SCADA has a limitation. IoT has larger scalability, and beyond that, SCADA IoT also gives you an aspect of pick and choose your requirements. That is limited in SCADA. You cannot choose the pick and choose features in SCADA. And IoT actually, you can actually deploy at multiple places and try and bring it to a common platform. And most interestingly, you can actually access the data anywhere in the world. In the click of a mobile, you can actually look at the data on your mobile for different locations of your plant or your facilities. So that is possible. In SCADA, you have limitations today. And mind you, IoT also has the same kind of security features you have in SCADA and other forms of BMS. So, in fact, the kind of encryption what we get in IoT is far higher when compared to the data what we get in SCADA. So, the rest assured, your data is also safe, and it's light. You don't need a larger infrastructure like setting up a different control room, things like that. I mean, you can actually totally avoid the cost of the control room, including the cost of maintaining it. So that can also be avoided. Okay, then. Thank you. Thanks for your time, and please address your questions if you have any, and we'll come back to you. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us. For any further questions, please write to us on marcom@HCI.Tech. The link is on the chat box. You can also check out our websites for any material on industry-specific case studies and blogs. You will also receive an email with the recording of this session. So yeah, thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank you, Harish. Bye.
Thank you, Nageshwar. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Thank you.